So, good evening to everyone in India and good morning to those devotees who have joined in from US. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our weekly session, systematic study of Bhagavad Gita under the name Gita Amritam Rasamalayam. It's been a good journey of few months now, and we have reached now session number 47. Today we'll be doing session number 47, and we are on chapter 8. Last week we started chapter 8, and the title is Attaining the Supreme or Aksara Brahma Yoga. And it will be a pleasure to lead you through the next few verses today. 8.8 to 8.16 is what we are targeting to cover today. So with that, let's proceed. So here we are in the Goloka Vrindavan, aiming to go to Goloka Vrindavan. And this is the Goloka Express in which we are all traveling right from the first chapter. And we hope to attain Goloka Vrindavan at least conscious wise, if not physical wise, by the end of the 18th chapter. And so last week we saw how Krishna taught us how to face the most inconvenient truth of life. The inconvenient truth is basically death. We said that life is a preparation and death is an examination. So we covered under that verses 8.1 to 8.7. That is the art and science of living and dying. And also one important thing we learned last week was that Krishna taught us not only to have a great living, but also to prepare well before dying. That means, in other words, it is said that you live before you die, but you also die before you die. Die before you die means our deeper quest that we should develop in our journey of life. And the deeper quest certainly involves eliminating all the anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya, in order to be qualified to have a glorious departure. That is why it means die before you die. This is what actually I borrowed from His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. He comes up with nice single liner and beautiful quotes with full of wisdom. So this is one of the things that I read, and instantly struck to me that this is apt in today's context. So Goloka Vrindavan, our most loving place, because every step in Goloka is a dance. Here every step is a thorn. There in Goloka Vrindavan, every word is a song. Here every word comes out to be a slang or a bad word. And in Goloka Vrindavan, every day is a festival. You don't need excuse like, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and all those kind of things. So every day is a festival. So what more we want? No anxiety. Why kunta? Free of anxieties. No kunta. Okay. So today we'll try to cover these things, and Krishna will teach us the various pathways for remembering him in these verses, because there are different types of yogis, as we saw in the previous chapters. So how they connect to Krishna and is what Krishna will now tell us today. And of course, before we proceed, we seek the blessings. I seek the blessings of my dear Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Maharaj, also known as Dr. T.D. Singh in the scientific circle. He was a scientist disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and his samadhi lies in Radhakund near Vrindavan. Prabhupada started Bhaktivedanta Institute for him to spread the glories of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to the scientific minded people who are generally atheistic or do not believe in the ultimate reality that is absolute truth. And of course, our respects to Srila Prabhupada, without whom we would not have even been thinking about what is Krishna consciousness. He introduced this word Krishna consciousness through the institution of ISKCON. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutle Srimati Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Nityanamini. Namasad Bhaktamani Manipur Udbhavaicha Srila Prabhupada Lasatavani Pracharine Ratayate. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarni. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadaliya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Right. So with that, we do a quick recap of what we learned last week. So the chapter started, we said, we first spoke about the importance of the chapter, if you remember, where even by reciting half of the first verse, half of the first verse, a Brahmana named Bhava Sharma, who was actually confined to a tree body, that is a date palm tree or whatever. And from there he got liberation by just doing the smaranam of the first verse of the 8th chapter. And also two ghosts, Brahma Rakshasas, who were couple, who did not do their Brahminical duties properly and unfortunately got the ghost body. They got liberated by just remembering the first two lines of the first verse of this 8th chapter. And so in this way, we find there is a lot of mention, and this glories was given by Lord Shiva to Parvati, and Lord Vishnu himself sent the Pushpa Viman to uplift them and take them back to Vaikuntha Loka. So the 8th chapter started with this 8 urgent questions of Arjuna. What is Brahman? What is self, Adhyatma? What are the fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation, Adi Bhuta? What are the demigods, Adi Deva? Who is the Lord of sacrifice, Adi Yagya? And how does he live in the body? And finally, uh, how to face the final examination? How can you be known at the time of death? That is Prayana Kale or Antakale. So, and then of course, Krishna explains all this verse by verse. And in the 5th verse, which is, where a lot of lessons we got, where Krishna says, Antakale cha mam eva smaran mukta kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. So it is easier said than done that, okay, I'll remember the Lord at the time of death and I can go back to him. Okay, that's a theory, but in reality or in practice, we find it is the most impossible task, because it's like, asking a person to go to the examination hall without making any preparation. How can he pass the examination? Leave alone topping it, he can't even pass the examination because he has not prepared it. So therefore, and also, it's a crisis moment. At the time of death, we said that the throat area gets completely choked with kapapita vayu, and Prabhupada says, "Grr, grr," sound comes. The person struggles to gasp, and this prolongs for some time, and it's equivalent to the pain experienced through the biting of something like 40,000 scorpions. So you can imagine what sort of pain the person will be undergoing. So there is no possibility at all of doing any smarnam, unless there's a causeless mercy coming from some quarters or from some pure devotees. So therefore, King Kulashekara, prays in the Mukundmala Stotra that may I leave my body when I am young, I am fit, I am healthy, so that I am able to remember you directly when I leave the body. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankajapad, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankajapang Panjarantam Adevame Vishatamana Saraja Hamsa प्राण प्रयाण समये कपवात पित्ते कंठावरोदन विदो स्मरणम कुटस्ते. Where is the chance of remembering you, O Lord, at the time of death when my completely throat is going to be choked with mucus, bile, and everything, kapha pitta vayu. So therefore, I would rather, be like a swan who is always sitting at the stem of the lotus. So like that, in that connection, I want to make your lotus feet always in front of my eyes. May I leave my body in that way, remembering your lotus feet. So that is a very profound prayer. I mean, if we just think how deep it is, how many of us will think in this manner that I want to leave the body right now when I am fit and healthy? We try to extend our life in all possible ways, and then when the final examination comes, there's a good chance of failing. So I'm just remembering some of the glorious departures. Even in our own ISKCON Guru, in recent times we have seen our. Last month we had the misfortune for us. Of course, for him to go back to Golok Dham is a fortune thing. His Holiness Kratudas Adhikari Maharaj. He was unwell for some time, but look at the good fortune that he gets an opportunity to leave the body in Vrindavan, hmm, and that also in Purushottam Mas, which is considered to be a very, very auspicious month like Kartik. Very, very auspicious. Similarly, we find the life of our Aindra Prabhu, who was doing 24 hours Kirtan in Krishna Balram temple. Externally, it looked like the fire in his ashram consumed him, but internally, he was found in a position when the devotees went inside and they found his body. His hands were tightly clutching the lotus feet of Sri Sri Nidai Sachisuta. That is really glorious. Similarly, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damasai Maharaj, externally it may look like the bomb hurled by Manipuri miscreants in 2006 might have been the cause for his health deterioration. But internally, we know that just moments, seconds before he departed, he woke up his two secretaries in Calcutta office, Bhaktivedanta Institute office, and he told them, "Wake up, you sleeping souls. Rasa Leela is about to begin." And then he departed. And what a day he chose. That was a Vijayadashmi day to depart. And Srila Prabhupada himself departed in Vrindavan, and amidst all the devotees, disciples chanting his glories, and till the last minute, he was also, dictating and speaking about Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So this is the greatness of the great souls, Mahatmas. But where are we? We have no chance at all in this situation because we are completely enveloped by Maya. So therefore, Krishna says through Arjuna that we should try to do smaranam, antakalecha mameva mukta. So this is the important teachings we learned. And then we are not so fortunate like Ajamila, who had the second chance at the last minute because he called out to his son Narayan. And then when he said Narayan, the Vishnu Dus came and they rescued him and then gave him a second chance, and he rectified his behavior. Then in 8.6, we saw that Yammam Vapi Smaram Bhavam. In that verse, we saw that how by whatever our thoughts come at the last minute or the last second before leaving the body, we will attain that particular nature. So the last minute thought cannot come from out of the blue. It has to come based on how we have led our entire life. For example, here you find that people who are very lusty throughout their life, they can get an animal body. The people who are lazy throughout their life, who like to sleep, then they'll get a polar this bear, because the bear loves to sleep all the time. Similarly, a person who is envious or has been envious throughout his life, he gets the body of a snake. The snake is the most envious living creature in this planet. And a person who likes to display his body or her body all the time in the nude clubs and all those places, then they get a chance to become a tree, because the tree is the barest possible living creature. And a person who loves to enjoy eating non-veg all the time, eating meat, then he's getting a chance to enjoy it throughout his life in the next life in the form of a carnivorous animal which can bite the other flesh, etc. Similarly, if we even remember, do this at the last minute because of some misfortune, like Bharat Maharaj case, he remembered his baby deer, whom he was showing compassion, and he became a deer in the next life. But he was fortunate then to remember all that and then become Jada Bharat. So these are some of the cautionary things. We should know the law of nature, transmigration, the body, soul leaves one body to another body. So therefore, dear devotees, it is not possible. It is just not possible otherwise to go and perform Bharatnatyam on the stage without doing the practice of Bharatnatyam for as long as possible. You know, so that is the basic key. Sachin Tendulkar did not become Sachin Tendulkar overnight. He had to practice. His mother used to take him to the ground from very childhood, and he spent hours and hours every day practicing in the heat, cold or whatever. So it's what you practice that you perfect, and what you perfect that you remember at the end of the life also. So this is the teachings that we got, learnings that we got, and finally the last verse we ended with where Krishna says, so therefore tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddha cha. And then you offer your mind and your intelligence, mam arpito mano buddhir, mam eva ishyasi asamshaya. That means you offer everything to me, surrender your buddhi, surrender your mind, and think of me all the time, even when you're doing your work. He is not saying that you stop your work and go to the mountains. No. So the analogy that we covered was how a mother beautifully balances between her household work or office work. At the same time, her consciousness, her mind is always attached to her child. She is conscious of what the child wants. She is conscious of what the child might be doing. She is conscious of the hunger of the child and the what right food to be given at the right time. Yet she is completing her duties so well. So internal focus of mind and intelligence is in the same way, analogy wise, we should fix on Krishna. Externally, we can do our prescribed duties as per our Varnashrama Dharma. And then with that combination, we can be easily transferred to Krishna Loka. That is where we ended. So today we begin with verse number 8.8, where Krishna will tell us the importance of, he's already told us the importance of remembering him, but how to remember him now? What are the ways of remembering him? That is what we will learn today. So 8.8, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Nanyagaminaha Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Partha Anuchintayan. So here, let's see the translation. The translation is, he who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, is undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Oops, sorry. So let's see, try to understand this Abhyasa Yogena. Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. So Abhyasa, we learned it few verses before. I think in the 7th chapter, we said that how it is a practice. You have to constantly practice. So here, Abhyasa Yoga, Krishna is saying how one can practice the forms of yoga. For example, be it Bhakti Yoga, be it Ashtanga Yoga, be it Jnana Yoga. So there are different yogas that one can follow, and then accordingly one can get the result also. So Abhyasa is basically the how you engage yourself in practicing with full dedication. Chetasa. Chetasa means you engage your mind. That means your consciousness has to be completely fixed. Na Nanya means na anya gamina. Na anya gamina. So therefore, without any deviation, without any diversion, get yourself completely immersed and engage your mind completely in this consciousness. So it will not go anywhere. It cannot be. So it's like a single pointed focus, single pointed attention, almost like a samadhi state. You completely, if you're a hatha yogi or a jnana yogi, you will just sit in that posture and you will close your eyes and you will try to focus with your mind and buddhi, so that everything else is cut off from the rest of the world, like a samadhi stage. Paramam Purusham Divyam. So if you do that, one can attain the Paramam Purusham, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Divyam, that is transcendental to the modes of material nature. Yati Partha Anuchintayam. So, O Partha, what is saying? O Partha, you will attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of Anuchintayam. So, steady contemplation. So, Chintayan is basically contemplation, and Anuchintayan is steady contemplation. So this is how we can understand. Now, Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy in the purport, which is very, very, I would say, eye-catching, and it goes directly into our brain and mind. Prabhupada says that just like how this caterpillar, this caterpillar you must have seen, is constantly, it seems, it's thinking about butterfly. It's looking at the butterfly, and it is so absorbed in the butterfly that it gets slowly transformed into a butterfly in the very same life. Like if you can see it coming out of the cocoon, the caterpillar form, then it's doing smaranam of butterfly, it's looking at butterfly, and then looking, it becomes so much absorbed in its mind of butterfly that it becomes butterfly in the same life. So, dear devotees, now imagine if a non-human entity can attain this. Can we as human beings, can we not attain the nature of the abode of Krishna by just doing smarana of the Lord? And there are simple processes available for us to do that. There are different processes. And in fact, the next 5 verses are going to talk about, the ways of remembering Krishna through this Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means they are following a particular brand of yoga in which there is little bhakti also. And bhakti percentage can vary from 10% to 50% or little more than 50% also. So depending upon that, the destination can be fixed. Mishra means mixed with. So when I say Yoga Mishra Bhakti, that means the person who is doing Dhyana Yoga or Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, he is also thinking about the Lord. Or a person who is doing Jnana Yoga, who knows the difference between matter and spirit, but he wants to merge. He wants to merge, and for that he prays to the Lord. Oh Lord, I want to merge in the effulgence. I want to become one with you, like that. So that is Jnana philosophy. So therefore, if one constantly thinks of Krishna in any way, Yenekena prakarena mana Krishna niveshya, so then he can attain that particular objective. So what can vary between the different aspects of yoga is the object. So object is different and objective is different. Object is something like what you're thinking of, what you're meditating of. That is object. Objective is your goal, your destination, what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve. That is objective. So Bhakti Yoga will constantly, in his object also will be Krishna, the means will be Krishna, and the method also will be like, he'll completely think of Krishna only. I want to reach Krishna, destination, and he'll be thinking Krishna as an object. Whereas Jnana Yoga may think his object will be to become like one with God, to become merging with the effulgence. And for that, he may just meditate upon Krishna. He doesn't know that the effulgence is coming from Krishna. That much he has not achieved knowledge. He just knows that we are Atma, and we are different from the body. And so there is something which is superior to us. There is something that is super soul also. And then there is an energy. So this energy is responsible for even Krishna to be born from that energy. That is how the thinking goes. So then the object will be, to meditate upon this effulgence of the Lord. And similarly, the Dhyana Yoga, he could be probably wanting to become a mystic yogi, a powerful mystic yogi, like with all the mysticism, etc. And for that, he may pray to Krishna also. So these are all mixture. It is not Shuddha Bhakti. You pray to Krishna for this result. Okay, so we'll see more about that in the coming verses. Okay, so the 5 verses which I mentioned, 8.9 to 13, is how one can go back home, back to Godhead by remembering Krishna through different means. So, for example, verse number 8.9 mentions about how to remember Krishna by meditating upon him as a knower of everything, as being one of the oldest, the controller, smaller than the smallest, maintainer, beyond the material conception, inconceivable, always sees a person, luminous like a sun, beyond the material nature. So these are the different ways one can contemplate of remembering Krishna. And then from verses 10 to 13, there are the do's and don'ts, what one must be doing to achieve that particular destination. So we'll see that. So under this Yoga Mishra Bhakti, first thing 8.9, Krishna discusses 10 different ways of remembering him. So previously was stressing on the remembrance part, smaranam. So now he says there are 10 different ways of remembering him for a person who is following this yoga. Yoga means not bhakti yoga, like say hatha yoga, ashtanga yoga, etc. Okay, so Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Ani Anor Aniyam Sam Anusmaredya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varanam Tamasa Parastat. So here you can see that let's see the translation. So one should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything. That means Supreme Person as he knows everything. He is the oldest. He is the controller. He is smaller than the smallest. He is the maintainer of everything. He is beyond all material conception. He is inconceivable and he is always a person. He is luminous like a sun and is transcendental beyond this material nature. So this is what Prabhupada says, and our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Buddhayabhushan also give a commentary on this particular verse. So they have added that you can see there is some small difference, some more stress they are laying on this. They say that without the practice of yoga, it is difficult to withdraw the mind and senses. That means what it means is that in one of the earlier chapters, Arjuna had told Krishna that I am finding it very difficult to control the mind. Chanchala manahi Krishna. So therefore, how does one remember Krishna when the mind is not controlled? So therefore, here Krishna is giving an answer that you practice this yoga. So without practice of this yoga, it is difficult to withdraw the mind from the sense objects. And without withdrawing the mind from sense objects, it is difficult to constantly think of the Lord. Therefore, one should execute bhakti with some type of yoga practice. And the Lord here speaks of bhakti mixed with Ashtanga yoga, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, in these 5 verses. That is what clearly is a verdict of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan. So, in one sense, you can say this verse describes the Krishna's grandeur description. All his glories, like Parama Purusha. Why is a Parama Purusha? And these 10 different ways. So let us see it one by one. Okay. So the first thing is Kavim. So Kavim meaning is like he is like omniscient. Somebody who knows, you can remember him like somebody who knows everything, past, present, future. In the 7th chapter, we already understood that Vedaham Samitatani Vartamani cha Arjuna Bhavishyani cha Bhutani Mam tu Veda cha Kaschana. So he says that I know everything about the past, I know everything about the present, I know everything about the future also. It's like the sun, 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 is said to be seeing everything because it illuminates all the objects of the world. So in same way, Krishna is also omniscient, and therefore, he knows everything. So Kavim. So to give an example here, in the Mahabharat war, when yes, when Duryodhan, suddenly entered on one of the days in Bhishma Pitama's room, and he said that I suspect that you're siding with the Pandavas. You are not fighting in your own in a proper spirit, in a Kshatriya spirit. You are very soft on them. So I can't understand this. So he actually urges him that this is not the way. You should really be fighting for the Kauravas against the Pandavas. So Bhishma Pitamaha says, no, I don't agree with you. I'm fighting with full vigor and zeal. And to prove his point, Bhishma Pitamaha said, if you feel that way, I will hereby remove these 5 arrows to kill the 5 Pandavas tomorrow, and I'll pray a particular mantra. I'll invest all these 5 mantras which I'm going to pray in these 5 arrows, and I'll give them to you. Tomorrow you can go and shoot the Pandavas, and they will die. So Duryodhana was very happy. He collected the 5 arrows and he went. So Krishna had not seen this, but he was aware of it. How did Krishna know that? Because he is a knower of everything. Then immediately advised Arjuna that this is your chance, since you had a boon. You had given, you had a boon. I mean, Duryodhana had a boon from you, that you can take back that whenever you want. You can ask him whatever you want. So now is the time you go and ask the 5 arrows, because on one of the occasions, uh, Arjuna had protected Duryodhan against the against whom was that? Anyway, I'm forgetting that. But he had protected them against the Gandharvas. Against the Gandharvas, he had protected them, and so that Krishna told Arjuna, now is our chance. You go and ask that. So he went to Duryodhan and he said, please give me back those 5 arrows. So Duryodhan had no choice. He said, okay, you had that boon, so okay, I'm giving it back to you. So Krishna saved the Pandavas at that time because he had that vision of knowing what is going to happen in future. So he knows the past, he knows the present, and he knows the future also. Then next thing is Puranam. So Puranam means oldest. So there is nobody who is older than Krishna. So he is the most, I would say, oldest or the ancient, the father of all jivas, right from Brahmaji to the ant. He's completely is oldest. So and this is also explained in Brahma Samhita by Brahmaji himself. So in this way we understand that the Lord is Puranam. Then we come to the third thing, that is Anusha Sitaram. So Anusha Sitaram is somebody who is a controller of the entire, not only the planet, the entire universe. He is like omnipotent, omniscient, and completely controller of everything. In the next chapter, he will say, Maya Dakshena Prakritim Suyate Sa Characharam. Under my supervision, the entire universe is moving. So I am responsible for that. He says that very clearly. So in that way, then Rupam. Rupam means the form. So clearly the Lord has a form. So all those people who say the Lord is Nirguna are clearly defeated by this argument. Lord himself says that I am to be known with a form. So therefore my Guru Maharaj wrote a book called as God is a person. He has a form. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Puranam. So Puranam is coming there also. Adyam Puranam Purusham Navayo Vanamcha Vedesha Durlabam Abudurlabam Atma Bhaktyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Brahma Samhita. So the Rupam, Ananta Rupam is clear. So Krishna has got forms, he's got unlimited forms. So what cannot be understood by Vedas, Vedesha Durlabam, that can be understood by Atma Bhakto. Somebody who is a devotee can understand him. And that understanding is that basically is adurlabham. That means the opposite of durlabham. So sudurlabham. The person gets the form. So that's why it's important to connect the scriptures with the understandings of Acharya and how they nicely understand. Then only we can get an understanding. Otherwise, it will be speculation. Then Aditya Varnam. Aditya Varnam is like the description is that he looks like the splendor is like a sun. The sun has got such a beautiful, nice orangish yellow color. So very much effulgent and radiant. So it is said again in Brahma Samhita that the sun is one of the eyes of the Lord. Other one is moon. So he is like a sun. So therefore, with all this, we can clearly say that we can refute the argument clearly that Krishna is impersonal. Krishna is completely personal. So therefore, we have to worship the personal form of the Lord. Then, as the verse further goes, there are a few more descriptions about him. He is Anor Aniyamsam. Anor Aniyamsam is smaller than the smallest, smaller than the smallest. The smallest particle known or smallest atom known to us is our soul. As per the various scriptures, we understand the size of the soul, which cannot be measured by using any modern gadgets even. It is 1/10,000, 1/10,000 of the size of the tip of the hair. So if you take this hair and you take only a tip part and you slice it into 10,000 parts, what remains? Probably nothing will remain, and that is the size of the soul. And Krishna enters the heart of that soul. So therefore he is Anor Aniyamsham. That means he is smaller than the smallest. So does it mean that he's invisible and he cannot be seen? No. He's also bigger than the biggest. So for example, Prabhupada once said that the modern man can make big aeroplanes. But if you ask him to make a small ant or a small mosquito, he cannot. He cannot. Whereas here, the Lord can become smaller than the smallest, and he can expand to become bigger than the biggest. That is the beauty. And because he can become bigger than the biggest, he is Sarvasya Dataram, or maintainer. So Data means somebody who maintains, and Sarvasya Data, maintainer of all. All means not only human beings, all the living beings, 8.4 million, across all the universes. There are multiple universes coming out of his pores. He maintains all of them. Imagine what kind of Achintya Shakti that is. So Achintya, yeah. Then before we go to Achintya, he can also sustain all these massive floating systems and galaxies by his inconceivable energy. Achintya. Achintya is basically inconceivable. We cannot even conceive by our normal logic, by our normal analytical reasoning, any scientific understanding. It cannot, because it is beyond our speculations, mental speculation. It cannot be. You cannot. One cannot understand this by argument or logic or philosophical speculation. Nothing can come near it. So Achintya is completely inconceivable. Totally whatever we cannot even think, that is what Krishna can even come. He can come in the form of a Varaha, he can come in the form of Matsya, Kurma, Narsimha, he can emerge from the pillar whenever he wants to save his devotee. I mean, there are innumerable ways that he can exist. We know that before he came as Varaha, he entered as a small particle through he came out as a small particle through the nostril of Brahmaji, and then he expanded and became Raktavaraha. So these are some of the Achintya Shaktis of the Lord. Even in his pastimes, when he did his Leela in Vrindavan, there are so many innumerable pastimes, that is, especially his killing pastimes, which small baby cannot do. So that way it's inconceivable. On the other hand, we apply our limited knowledge which Prabhupada calls as Dr. Frog's theory. Dr. Frog is in the well, and it thinks that the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean may be slightly bigger than the size of the well. It cannot even imagine. So that is our mentality. If we cannot see with our eyes, we cannot understand through our material senses, we think that there is no God around us. He cannot exist. And then the 10th point, or the 10th truth about him was Tamasaha Parastat. He is transcendental beyond the material nature. So Tamasa is typically darkness. So he is beyond darkness. And Tamasa also represents ignorance, or we can say illusion, delusion, which are all the characteristics of material world. So when you say is Tamasa Parastat, it means he's beyond the modes of material nature, he's beyond this material existence, even though he's responsible for the material world, but he's beyond that. Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya, famous verse of the Upanishad. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Okay. Then we go to verse number 10. प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषम् उपयेति दिव्यम्. So here Krishna talks about Prayanakale, which is same as Antakale, which we learned a few verses before at 8.5. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. So here he says Prayanakale manasa chalena. So manasa means mind, manasa plus achala. So we know chanchala. Chanchala means something that is flickering. So chala means steady. So manasa chala. So you can, something with an undeviating mind, you can say, steady mind. So prayanakale, if the mind is steady, so bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva. So bhaktya yukto means with bhakti. With bhakti, what you can do? You can have the manasa chalena. That means you can control the mind. Yoga balena chaiva. By the strength of bhakti, balena, by the strength of bhakti, one can, by remembering the Lord constantly and continuously in full devotion, one can control the mind. Otherwise, in the 6th chapter, we learn, Arjuna said, it is easy for me to control the wind, but my mind is difficult to control. Chanchala manahi Krishna pramati balavam dridam. So it is very obstinate. It is very restless. It is very, very turbulent, strong. All the different adjectives we used for describing the mind. Because it is, we all experience that. We sit for chanting and our mind is going to any places. If we want, in 1 second, we can go to Vrindavan, come back, we can go to America and come back also through mind. Advanced devotees, they serve the Lord through mind. And the non-devotees, they serve their material senses through mind. They experience exotic pleasures through mind. Advanced devotees see how we can utilize through mind how we can serve the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. So mind becomes basically a centric point, and when it is chanchala, it is primarily because of our anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya. These are the enemies which are residing in our mind. So we have to purify the mind slowly, and then we can go. So for a yogi, you remember that we learned in the 6th chapter, what is that? Yata dipo nivasta. Yata dipo nivasto. That means like how the lamp, in the windless area will be burning very steadily. Similarly, the yogi learns how to control his mind. He can control his mind through his sadhana. Can control. So that is the thing. So here, the 3rd line of the verse, it says, Bruvor madhye pranam aveshya samyak. That means Bruvor. Bruvor is similar to our English word eyebrows. Bruvor, brows. So Bruvor Madhye. So what Krishna is saying, that such a yogi, he should fix the life air. Pranam. Pranam is life air. He should fix the life air between the two eyebrows here, like this. And so that means he has to raise the prana from the lower part of his body slowly upwards and bring it to the center of the Bruvor Madhye, between the two eyebrows. And if he does that, Satam Param Purusha Upayeti Divyam, such a person will then attain the Supreme Person, the Lord says. He will certainly attain the, that means he can go. So there are a lot of difficulties in this, and because primarily this now deals with what is called as Pratyahara. So Pratyahara is the stage of Ashtanga Yoga, which is the fourth stage of Ashtanga Yoga. So with that, one should practice and bring the prana vayu to life air to between the center of the eyebrows, Bhruva Madhya. Then Krishna says by remembering him, it can be brought to the Agya Chakra. After Agya Chakra, it can go outside, it can break the skull, and then it can go northwards. So now we'll understand what are the difficulties or challenges. So Krishna talks here about he's introducing the concept of Sat Chakra Yoga. That means there are 6 chakras in our body, and we are not going in depth into it because this is a different science by itself. But just to understand the context of this verse, we'll try to see how the chakras are working in the body. What are the various chakras? So as I said, there are primarily 6 chakras, starting with the Mooladhara chakra, then Swadhisthana chakra, which is near the navel, then Nabhi chakra, which is just above the navel, and then there is Anahata chakra, which is basically the heart area, Vishuddha chakra, throat area, and then the Agya chakra, which is the forehead, this region. And then there is something called as the Sahasrara chakra, which is basically the exit point. For the yogi, we brings it, and then from here, the chakra exits, the life air exits. So there are a lot of things to understand. It's not so easy. So this is explained in the verse number 11, 8.11. Yad aksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yad yatayo vitaraga yad ichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sagrihna pravakshye. So here Krishna is actually saying how to bring this pranavayu to the Agya Chakra. And he is introducing the word Aksharam. So Aksharam is nothing but the letter syllable Om. You remember in the 7th chapter, he said, Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu. I am the syllable Om. So by Om, I am to be understood. So there are these chakras are basically, you can understand this as centers of power. They carry some powers, they carry some energy, or they can even carry the fields, field of activity, they carries that. So depending upon our situation, like it can, the chakras, the prana vayu can oscillate between lower to the upper part. Normally for a person who is yogi, they always try to keep the prana vayu on the upper part of the body, not in the lower part of the body, because the danger is if it is in the lower part of the body and if it exits from the lower part of the body at the time of death, then it is said that one attains hellish planets. So therefore, it is always advisable for such a yogi to release the pranavayu from the upper part of the body, preferably the uppermost part of the head. That is the topmost part here. In fact, when His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, he left his body, I think in 2002 or 3. The devotees around and the disciples who were there serving him, they noticed that there was a small hole at the center of this on the skull here. So that signifies that the soul has escaped or left the body from this tip of the top of the head. So there are a lot of requirements of this chakra. Let's first read the translation. Persons who are learned in Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one can attain salvation. So there are some requirements to be fulfilled in this so-called Sat Chakra Yoga. That is six yoga. So first thing the Lord says, Yad Aksharam. So when you chant Yad Aksharam, that is Omkara mantra, uttering this, it is identical with Brahman, and it is. But of course, the devotees we normally utter Hare Krishna. We'll come to that little later. There is a subtle difference between Omkar mantra and Hare Krishna mantra. It will come in one of my later slides. So Veda Vidaha. Veda Vidaha is somebody who is having knowledge of all the Vedas. Like Vedanta Vid, we say, Veda Vidaha. Upanishads, Shastras, all these things he has got knowledge. And for devotees, we focus mainly not on all the entire gamut of literatures, but just Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If these three have got knowledge, you have got the sar of all the Vedas. Vitaraga. So Vitaraga means raga is attachment, Vitaraga is no attachments. That is practice detachments. So for the liberation in the Sat Chakra, it requires like a renunciation mind. You have to have complete renunciation. And most important is Brahmacharyam Charanti. That means your acharan should be like a brahmacharya, celibacy. You have to practice celibacy, and that's why it is advised that the brahmacharis should stay in Gurukul. They should take instructions from the Guru, serve the Guru, and serve like this as long as possible, and in complete celibacy, so that they get the power. That's why the brahmachari ashram is very, very important to practice this kind of a Sat Chakra yoga. Then comes what is the result coming out of this? When you practice all that, the result is Tatte Param. Krishna says Tatte Param Sangrehana Pravakshe. That means you enter into that. So Tatte Param goal. The goal that you want to, you will attain that goal. That is, the goal is basically liberation, mukti, moksha. And most of the times, the moksha here signifies impersonal liberation. That means you want to merge with the impersonal Brahman or the Brahma Jyoti or the effulgence of the Lord. That is also called technically as Sayujya Mukti. There are different types of mukti, which will come a bit later. That also will cover different types of mukti, because it's very, very important to understand what a devotee is aspiring, what type of mukti a devotee is aspiring, or what he doesn't even care about. He is not worried about, he is not caring for the merging into the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. That is not what the devotee looks for. But a Hatha Yogi, a Jnana Yogi, they may look at that as an option. Okay. Okay, so these are the various explanation. Then we go to verse number 12. So in the verse number 12, Krishna continues, Sarva Dvarani. So now he's giving the process. Sarva Dvarani Samyamya Manoriddhi Nirudhya Cha Murdani Adayatmanaha Pranam Asisto Yoga Dharanam. So here he's giving the various process, how it can be achieved. So the yogic situation is that the detachment from all sensual engagements. The first thing is you have to have detachments. Closing all the doors of senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. So Sarva Dwarani, that means all the gates of senses, that needs to be closed. And then you try to fix the mind on the heart, and then the life air, to bring the life air, pranavayu, to the top of the head, And in this way, he established astito yoga dharanam. He enters into the posture of dharanam. So we come back to this, what we learned, I think, in the one of the earlier chapters, probably sixth chapter, we learned Dhyana Yoga, where there are two types of stages of Ashtanga Yoga. The first four, that is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam. These four come under Arurukshor. And then the next four, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi, come as an advanced level. The first four are basic level, and the next four are advanced level, that is Arudha. So Yoga, Arukshor, and Yoga, Ruddha. These are the two stages, two different distinct stages of progress of the such a yogi, Ashtanga yogi, who makes progress in that particular direction. So I'm not going into details of each and every part, because this we covered actually in the earlier chapter, sixth chapter we covered. So what we need to see now is what is actually Krishna trying to convey here. So he's saying that first thing is, so this whole thing is basically directly we are talking of Pratyahara stage. So we are not talking of Yam, Niyam, Asana and Pranayam. Those are all over. Then when the yogi comes to the Pratyahara stage, now is where is 8.12, Sarva Dvarani Samyama. So therefore, in Pratyahara stage, he basically knows the art of withdrawing the senses from the sense object. So for that, the Dwara or the doors, there are 9 gates in our body, which are, the 2 ears, nose, 2 nostrils, mouth, eyes, anus, and rectum, genitals. So these 9 gates, he learns the art of closing them so that the pranavayu does not escape from there. So, and he does this like in a samyama. Samyama is basically complete control. All the indriyas, all the gyanendriyas, that is knowledge acquiring senses, will be completely under the control, and that is samyama. Completely he will be able to control. He will not be absorbing it in sense objects. He now has withdrawn his senses, and now he is completely absorbing it in the, not in the world beauty, but he may probably see the beauty inside. So there is no scope for any sense gratification here. Then after that, he goes to the next step, that is dharana. So in dharana, he is primarily focusing on the mind from not getting agitated. So that means there is no external disturbance now. His mind is very, very calm. His mind is fixed on the heart, and he concentrates purely on the Atma Tattva inside within himself. And then he may even try to focus upon the form of the Lord. If he's an advanced devotee, he may focus on the form of the Lord, and then he may enter into dhyana stage. So from dharana, he enters dhyana stage. So there in dhyana stage, he will directly try to focus on the form. And after focusing on the form, he enters into almost like the bliss stage, that is samadhi. So now beyond that, he's not able to rise. That is, he's not able to experience the bliss of doing any devotional service. It is just that he's seen the form and he's excited, he's in the bliss, and he's just sitting in that samadhi posture. So astito yoga dharanam, in that position he sits, and then he spends years and years in doing that, and then finally he escapes from here, and then he enters the destination, that whatever he desires. So you can see the difficulty now. What are the various things I have summarized here? That means Sat Chakra, first raise the life air to Agya Chakra, then 8.11, he has to chant Om, then in 8.12, he has to they withdraw all the senses and mind, and then focus on the mind alone, inside beauty, not on the external side. And he cannot even have any thoughts about sex life. So he has to be completely, celibate. And then finally in 8.12, he says that he fixes the mind on the heart, and in the heart, he can then raise to the level of samadhi, where he can, fix his mind on the Lord, on the form of the Lord. So this is the summary of Pratyahara, what I have explained now. Withdraw the senses, then after withdrawing the senses through Gyanendra control, no sense gratification, then mind gets focused on the super soul and the life air is forced to the top of the head. Now we have to see the practicality of it in the modern times. How much practical, even though Krishna is explaining this, but then Krishna himself will give us a easier solution. We'll come to that in the subsequent verses, because Pratyahara practices are very difficult, dear devotees, to practice in the modern age, and therefore Krishna will give a solution to that also, and he would say that simply do Bhakti Yoga, and that is the process of Krishna consciousness. So this we saw last time, that by Mam Anusmara Yudhya, that means you do your activities, don't be disturbed, but keep your mind focused on the Lord. Whatever activities you want to do, you do. Because we see that even in other cases, there have been cases where people, top class yogis who have done yogic practice for several thousands of years, and one small, they become victim of lust and they fall down. Saubri Muni was practicing for several thousands of years under Yamuna, and then suddenly he saw the two fishes copulating, and then his senses got agitated, and then he came out, and he suddenly decided that he wants to experience the joy of sense gratification, of sex, and then he demanded that he wants to marry all the daughters, 10 daughters of King Mandata. And King Mandata said that, but you look very old and my daughters are young. So through yogic mystic qualities, he transformed himself to become young, and then he married the 10 daughters. And then from each of these 10 daughters, he had 10 children. So, and later on he realized, oh, what a mistake I made. I was actually supposed to be a yogi under Yamuna, practicing my, yogic practice. And then my goal was to rise above this material world, but I ended up here again. So this is a flaw. So that was Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Then similarly, Rishi Vishwamitra was practicing yoga for more than 60,000 years. Yoga Mishra Bhakti, he was practicing, and suddenly he got attracted by the beauty of Menika, and all his yoga practice went astray, and then he came out of that yoga practice and he fell in love with Menika, and he married, and through them Shakuntala came out. Okay. Similarly, King Yayati, these are all stories in the Bhagavatam. Okay. King Yayati was a great king, nice Kshatriya king, and he followed the practice of Karma Mishra Bhakti. So there are different Mishra, there is Bhakti is there, but it is not pure Bhakti. It is actually contaminated Bhakti with certain practices. So here it was Karma Mishra Bhakti. He was a Kshatriya practicing that, and suddenly he fell for this beauty of Devyani, who was trapped in a well. He rescued her, he married her, and then he lived with her for several hundreds and thousands of years. So these are some of the flaws and of the various kind of Mishra Bhaktis. So therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrit, the Lord says, Bhukti Mukti Kami Sakala Ashant, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ateva Shanta. So then that is a prime example is Haridas Thakur. We'll come to that. So finally, the last verse for that particular category of Chakra Yoga is 8.13, and that says, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran ya prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. What does it mean? After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So there is a way. Lord is not saying that you cannot come back. You can come to the spiritual planets, but it's a very tedious way. And there are certain pitfalls, as we saw in the case of those three stories. There are pitfalls. One can slip and fall down also. And so by using this Om Aksharam, Ek Aksharam, that is just this syllable of Om, in a very concise and transcendental vibration way, one can Vyavaharan, that is, it's vibrating in the tongue. Om. It keeps on vibrating. In fact, when you keep on saying it, you will see that your lips will vibrate, your tongue will vibrate, your throat also will vibrate. So these are the different ways one can do, but practice it for several years, and then maybe there's a chance that you can remember the Lord. So here prayati tejan deham, one who departs the body in this particular way, sayati paramam gatim, that person will attain the Supreme Lord. He enters the spiritual kingdoms. So the yogis have an option. They can enter any material planets, higher planets, which is temporary, but their intelligence probably will tell them that why to enter material planets. We can rather try to enter Brahma Jyoti, which is much more blissful. Or sometimes they enter even the Vaikuntha planets also. So there are a lot of distractions coming in the meditation, and if you can try to practice, but for us it is near to impossible. Constant our mind will be wandering about. We can only sit in a particular pose. That also we cannot sit for a long time. Our back starts aching, our hips will ache, our knees will ache, all the joints will ache after some time. We can try. Ultimately, it turns out to be only a gymnastics or just an exercise. So the yoga that we present generation we call is nothing but just an exercise. It is not. It has got nothing to do connecting our mind with the Lord. The process is meant for that, but it is not being achieved. 9 out of 10, you can see whatever they're doing, they go up to the level of Ashtanga Yoga. And then beyond that, they cannot fulfill that in this lifetime. And it's very difficult as Kali Yuga is advancing. The distractions will come in all possible ways. Social media is the biggest distraction. Our senses will go on wandering. So it's impossible to practice this. So now Prabhupada gives a beautiful explanation. I had mentioned earlier the difference between Om and Krishna. So they appear to be same because Krishna says, I am Omkara. But however, the syllable Om is impersonal. So when you say Om, you are not able to connect to Krishna's pastime. You can at the most think of Krishna, but you are not able to go beyond that because there seems to be slight difference in that. Whereas when you say Krishna, immediately your attention goes to Krishna, means Krishna as a person. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Ityadi. So you can, when you say Krishna, means you can see his form. From the form, you can remember his qualities, Guna. And from the qualities, you can remember his pastimes in the various forms that his various pastimes are there. So that gives more, that's more enterprising. So therefore, what Prabhupada says is that the Om is already included in Hare Krishna. So when you chant Hare Krishna, automatically Om is included because Krishna and Om are non-different. But if you just chant Om, and then you have to follow the yogic practice. And the yogic practice is you have to integrate the Om. You have to actually see the form of the Lord in your heart. And then when you say Om, then the power will work. Otherwise, if you just say Om, there's nothing working. Nothing. The thirst, the inner thirst is not getting quenched. So that is the main thing. And most importantly, when you say Om, since you don't see the personal form of the Lord, it's impersonal. At the most, the destination you can get is Brahma Jyoti. And Brahma Jyoti is not the destination that the devotees aim for, because that is incomplete. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. Brahma Jyoti is just the effulgence. It is coming from the Bhagavan. So why not we go to the Bhagavan? Why not we go to the Loka of Bhagavan? Why not we have an interaction with the Bhagavan in different mellows, rasas? So therefore, Hare Krishna mantra is more potent in Kali Yuga. And we will see that in the next 3 verses, which talk about this. Yeah, this I've already explained. So Hare Krishna mantra gives us the supreme bliss, and eventually it bestows the Krishna Prem if you continue with full faith and dedication. Now the next 3 verse 14 to 16, it's very simple because most of us are practicing devotees, sadhakas. So whatever Krishna says is we're already practicing. We will not have realized it, but we will also realize it one by one. Some of us might have realized it also. So this will be very easy for us to understand. So verse 14 talks about one who is undeviating. I remember and can remember Krishna very easily. So this seems to be a very easy practice compared to the previous 5 verses, where the practice is very tedious, cumbersome, and difficult. And in 15 and 16, he says the result: the pure souls do not return back into this temporary, miserable world, which is full of repeated birth and death. So this is what we'll see now. So we come to verse number 14. अनन्या अनन्या चेतः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यसः तस्याहं सुलभ पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः. So this is the technique or the process or the trick to reach Krishna Lok or Golok or the Vaikuntha Lok by Bhakti Yoga, which is far, far, far superior than any other forms of yoga. And this is also called as Kevala Bhakti. It is only so earlier Bhakti was Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Now here, if you minus the Mishra and only Bhakti part, Bhakti means purely devotional, loving devotional service. That is what is Bhakti Yoga. And Vishnu Chakra Thakur says in the translation, the devotee who remembers me daily, all the times, without deviation to the other process. Other process means Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, or persons. That means you don't deviate to any other forms of worship. No demigod forms of worship. Just focus upon the Krishna, directly the Lord's form, original form, or keep any other goals. Any other goals means I don't want to go to heavenly planets. I don't want to go even Brahmaloka. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagati shakame mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatat bhakti aituki toi. So I want only devotion of Lord. The real devotees don't even aspire to go to Goloka. That's a fact. They say that whatever condition, oh Lord, you're keeping me, be it hell, be it here, be it there, anyway, just I want to be serving at your lotus feet. Because your lotus feet is heaven for me. Your lotus feet is Goloka for me. Your lotus feet is everything for me. Then why should I separately aspire for, Goloka? So this is the real essence of Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna here describes how to remember him through Shuddha Bhakti. So Ananya Cheta Satatam. Ananya Cheta Satatam. Okay. We shall see here Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur. He is one of the best examples of Ananya Cheta Satatam. So without any deviation of mind, without letting the conscience go anywhere, Satatam, constantly. Without, this is free from Jnana and Karma. Anya Bilashita Shunam, Jnana Karma Anadi. Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. Anukulina Krishna, no, something that is favorable for Krishna. Shilanam Bhakti Uttama Uchyate. This is the topmost. So the beauty of remembering Krishna through chanting is that one can remember it under any condition, under any situation, under any circumstances. Whether you are sick on the sick bed, on the death bed, or whether you are traveling, whether you are attending nature's call, in any situation, you can remember the holy name by just merely chanting. All that is required is the tongues and the lips. That's all. So the tongue keeps on vibrating and the mouth produces the sound and the ear is hearing that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it's a sound vibration that is caught by the ear, and the tongue is constantly vibrating and the lips are constantly moving. This is what Namacharya Haridas Thakur perfected in his lifetime. He chanted 192 rounds. That is more than 3 lakh names of Harinam daily. And because of that, he got the power by which he could easily deflect Maya, which came in the form of Lakshahari, Lakshahira, prostitute, who came to entice him. We saw in the previous cases in the Mishra Bhaktis, Shaubari Muni fell down, sage Vishwamitra fell down after 60,000 years of penance. Then King Yayati fell down, Karma Mishra Bhakti. Whereas here we have an example where Pandit Haridas Thakur is not falling down. On the contrary, through his chanting power, he made this prostitute, he converted her and made her his servant. And she became a top class devotee. So, this is the secret of power of bhakti. So, Yomam Smarati Nityasa, one who can remember his name, Krishna's name all the time. Tasyaham tu Sulabha. Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. Sulabha means very, very easy to obtain. Sulabha. Durlabha was, we earlier saw, difficult to obtain. But, this in the Jnana Yoga chapter, when we were reading, we understood that Durlabha. Durlabha Manusha Janama. Even to get a human life is Durlabha. And here the Lord is saying to remember him is, or chant his holy name and remember him is the most easiest way to do it. And this if we do Nitya Yuktasya continuously, then automatically you will develop that Samadhi state, trance. And Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. So the Yogina means you become the topmost yogi. Topmost yogi. Yogina also has got another meaning. That means you can have a enjoyable relationship with the Lord. A different relationship you can have with him. So in that way we understand, just to give an analogy, for instance, in the modern day, we find that our mobile phone, it is always connected. Everyone keeps checking the WhatsApp messages or any other messages. Even when we are doing our spiritual activities, sometimes even while chanting, the finger is like this and left hand mobile people are checking something urgent. It doesn't wait. But that is a kind of distraction we are coming. So if that kind of distraction, if that kind of attachment that we are showing towards the mobile, if we show that attachment towards the holy name or chanting, then we can achieve Krishna in this lifetime. Like how Vilvamangal Thakur, when he was so attracted towards Chintamani prostitute, and he did not see day, night, heat, cold, thunderstorm, rain. He swam across the worst weather, and he went to her house drenched, dropping down from the roof, etc., catching the snake, thinking it's a rope. All those things he did, and after that, he only had to hear from this prostitute that if you had done so much if you had so much of attachment for the Lord, oh Vilva Bangla, then you would have achieved him. You're having so much attachment for me. What is the use? I'm a bag full of blood, mucus, and stool. But show this attachment for the Lord, and you'll get Lord. And this completely transformed him, and then he became one of the greatest devotee. And he composed so many prayers and poems across. So therefore, it's important to cultivate our mind towards this. How to chant so how to convert this mind. So let's go to the. Yeah, so see, I was saying earlier that, different types of yogis aspire for different kind of mukti, liberation, because there's a desire to get liberated. So, as per our Bhagavatam, there are 5 types of liberation. Salokya, Sasti, Samipya, Sarupya, Ikatvam means Sayujya, Apiyuta, Dhiyamanam na Grananti, Vinamat, Sevanam Janaha. So, Salokya is liberation where one gets to enter into the same planet of the Lord. Then Sasti is he gets the same opulence. Samipya Samipya is where he gets the same. So Sarupya is the same form. Salokya is the same thing. Samipya is the opulence. He gets the same opulence. Okay. So Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, same form. And Sayujya. Sayujya is merging. That is Ekatvam. So these are the various ways one can get kind of liberation from the material world. But the devotee, who's a real devotee, he doesn't even aspire for the topmost entering into the Vaikuntha Loka. A pure devotee, life after life, he just wants to remain a pure devotee at the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this way, I mean, this is a prime example we can see is Prabhupada himself. Prabhupada was always keen. I mean, he left Vrindavan to go and preach to the Western world, to where the Milechas are there, and he converted these Milechas into top class devotees. What more we want? So he carried Vrindavan in his heart. That is what the top devotees do. So they actually carry, but Krishna rewards them and he takes them to wherever the services are needed, he takes them. So a pure devotee does not accept any other kind of liberation. He doesn't want, he doesn't even aspire. He doesn't ask for any liberation also. So these are typically sought after by the other type of yogis. And of course, we see the duality in the material world. In the material world always, there is birth, there is death, then again there is birth, and again there is a death, and it keeps on going and going. The destiny cannot be changed. No, it is going on. You are repeating the same thing. Like today, if you're this life, if you're IITian, you have studied from IIT. Next life again, you are born. You have to study Baba Balakship, all those poems. Everything you have to study. So what is the big deal? Whereas spiritual progress, it is completely it's a dynamic. It keeps on growing and growing and growing. There's no end to it. So that is what Satatam means. Satatam means always when you go on remembering the Lord, you get this benefit. Gajendra could recollect his past devotional life, because of which he gave the glorious prayers to the Lord and he got back to the spiritual world. Similarly, Jatayu, similarly Dhruv Maharaj, they all practiced in the previous life, and as a result, they got their destination subsequently. So these various mellows that only a devotee relationship can have. So yogina, which we mentioned in the verse, yogina, ananya chetaha satatam yoga mam smarti nityasa tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. So yogina means relationship. You can have various kind of mellows, shantaras, dasyaras, sakya bhav, vatsalya bhav, madhurya bhav. So these are the various primary mellows, 5 mellows. And then there are 12 secondary mellows also, 7 secondary mellows also, like laughter, wonder, chivalry, compassion, anger, disaster, fear. You can have these kind of various mellows with the Lord. So where else will get a chance to do all that? So in Shanta, you serve as a neutrality. In Dasya, you serve as a friend. In Vatsalya, you serve in the parenthood. In Madhurya, you serve as a conjugal lover. So this is the bond that the Lord gives us to serve him. And whereas in mundane rasa, what happens? You get rasa. Like so you want to serve. Sometimes you end up serving your child, or the child wants to serve the mother. Sometimes when there is nobody around you, you want to keep a dog and you try to serve a Lord. But at the end, when the dog dies, when the mother dies, the relationship is terminated. Isn't it? Whereas in the spiritual world, what happens is it is eternal. The soul is eternal. God is eternal. So the relationship is eternal between the two. And that is Sanatan. But when we say Sanatan Dharma, it is grossly misunderstood even among the Hindu section. They think everything who is Hindu is a Sanatan. No. If you worship demigods and you go to the material planets, that is not Sanatan. Sanatan is that which cannot die. That is imperishable. It's always there. So that is possible only in Vaikuntha Loka. So only when you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, And only when you are able to understand the relationship, your constitutional position, that is Sanatan. So, in other words, mundane rasa or the rasa in this world is like biting the bamboo and expecting pleasure. The devotees, when you bite a bamboo, all that you can get is the taste of your own blood. Prabhupada gives the example of camel biting the thorns. When it bites the thorns, what happens? The thorns of the tree, it is actually tasting its own blood. And then that blood is becoming the rasa for it. That is mundane world. Whereas spiritual rasa is like chewing the sugar cane. When you bite a sugar cane, when you chew the sugar cane, when you try to chew the sugar cane, you get the juice. That is supreme rasa. See, in the physical realm, when our aspiration is so cheap, just a rasgulla is satisfying it gives us happiness. How many rasgullas can we eat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20. At some stage, when we get diabetes, you can't even go near rasgulla. At the mental level, we try to get happiness by hearing some music, and the music keeps on changing. Today I like this music, tomorrow I like some other music, and then it evolves. So it's nothing is permanent. At the intellectual level, you know, it's like a chess game. We try to maneuver the movements, and then we want to emerge victorious. But how long can we play that game? Only as long as the body is surviving. But at the spiritual level, Srila Prabhupada says it's Amrita. Amrita. That action performed for the satisfaction of Krishna is transcendental bhakti. And this is rasa, bhakti rasa, the stage of life that can be relished perpetually. It is always you'll enjoy spiritual rasa. See, the different forms of rasa you can experience. You can have the Vatsalya Bhav, you can have the Madhurya Bhav. I think it's going hidden somewhere. Okay. Maybe the transition animation part there's a mistake here. Otherwise, we should have seen all that. Okay, so I'll skip this. Yeah, I've explained all that before. Now we come to what is the result or benefit of practicing Bhakti Yoga. One of the main important things of Bhakti Yoga is there is no coming back again into this material world. So mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashaswatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhi paramam gatah. So, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion, it means now Bhakti Yoga people, never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Mam upetya punarjanma. That means in this temporary world, so that means after attaining me, mam upetya, after attaining me, punarjanma, no punarjanma, na apnovanti mahatmana. So you will not come back also, there is no punarjanma also. And this is the Krishna describes this world or this creation, material creation, as dukkhalayam ashasvatam. It is full of miseries and it is ashashvat. It is temporary. So that which is temporary, why we are investing so much? It is not something it is going to, we cannot take it also wherever we go. Even in the material world, when we change our bodies, we cannot take what we have accumulated. So where is that? Whereas Krishna is saying that if you come to my world, then you will not feel like coming back again, and there's no question because you're completely absorbed. See the different moods we can have with Krishna. Whereas here in the material world, it is full sadness, tear, pain, death, lamentation, lust, anger. You name anything. Is there anybody in this whatever number of people attending today who can claim that he's the most happiest person, or is happy, or is not having any distress? Nobody, I'm sure. Nobody can claim that. Because Krishna is declaring it. The Creator is saying that I have made this world that way so that you should come out of it. But we are covered by Maya, and we mistake this jail as the biggest, achievement in our life. And there, what is awaiting us in the spiritual world is something that is a beautiful planet. Natat Bhashito Surya. It doesn't need sun to illuminate this. Na Shashanko na Pavaka. It doesn't need the moon also. No need for any fire. No need for any electricity. Yad Gatva na Nivartante Tad Dama Paramam Mama. If you go there, oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Since when it is off? I didn't realize it. Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't realize that my video was off. How it became off, I don't know. Maybe I must have pressed it by mistake. Somebody could have alerted me, but my wife alerted me now. So when there are beautiful things awaited us, why are we then not even considering that? We are stuck in this realm of something that is filthy. This is just a filthy place. We have to understand that and come out of it. Final last verse of the day. See, Krishna is further telling us. Brahma Bhuvana
Now we can
Loka.
see.
Sorry? Somebody said something now. I didn't. Okay. Brahma Bhuvana
Your
Loka.
video was gone, but we can see you now.
Yeah. My wife just came and she informed me. So I saw that the video was off. I didn't realize it before. Okay. The last verse of the day, 8.16. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupatya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So here Krishna is again emphasizing, the entire universe, right from, we are in the Bhuloka, that is Earth. Above us, there are 7 planet system, Bhuvar, Swarga, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. And below us, there are 7 hellish planets, all the Patala planets, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So this entire Brahmand, is still material universe only. And Krishna now says, from the highest planet is Brahma Loka, down to the lowest, that is Patal, are all places of misery. They only vary in degrees, that's all. And fortunately for us, Earth is the only planet or only place in between, it's in the center, where there is both happiness also and sorrow. I mean, the degree of happiness and degree of sorrow is more or less same. So therefore, the realization will come faster that this is a filthy place. Now, if you have lot of happiness, excessive happiness, as in the case of heavenly planets, then you will be more caught in the sense enjoyment, and then you will not be able to come out of that. But he says that this also is a temporary place. So why to remain the temporary place? So it is again a place of misery only. There also there are a lot of problems. Only thing, the lifespan is more. So therefore, even the demigods, they actually feel that human beings in the material world, in this particular planet, are better off, because at least if they practice for 100 years, or if they practice for some time reasonably, there's a good chance they can directly go into the spiritual world. They'll bypass all the above planets and they'll directly enter. Whereas for the jivas in the higher planets to do, it will take a longer time, because the lifespan is higher and higher. Okay, so this is a verdict of Krishna. So you have to remember that. Otherwise, what will happen is we will yam vapi smaran bhavam. We'll get that only. So we should know what to consider in our mind and what not to ask for, and how to shape our life. So all the scriptures, point towards the same. Like Baladev Buddhabhushan also says in his commentary that Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, when there's a devastation happening, then in the material universe, even the Lord Brahma and his devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna. So this Brahma is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, because he is creating under the direction of the Supreme Lord. He's been given the responsibility to create the material universe. So basically, the secondary creation. So at the end of his life, he will go back to Godhead. But his life spans across 304 trillion 40 billion years. You can imagine 304 trillion 40 billion years. So that is very, 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 we are ant in front of Brahmaji. So nobody is spared. Everybody has to leave this place, and it's a question of time. So therefore, a quick summary of the 4 lessons that we learned today. The first thing is that Bhakti Yoga, that is Nishkama Bhakti, where we only desire for the Lord's pleasure, not for any personal gain, not desiring to go for heavenly planets, not desiring for any mystical perfection, not desiring even to enter Brahma Jyoti, but we want constantly the service of the Lord. That is the unalloyed devotion. Anya Birashudam. This is what actually should be our goal. How I can achieve the desire to serve the Lord all the time. How I can achieve the desire to get the love of God, Krishna Prem. So this requires stripping away of our other self-interest. Our self-interest is secondary. It should not even be there. It should be completely destroyed. The second lesson that we learn is that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the potency is so much that it's got the effect like a magnetic field. Just like how the how the magnet attracts the iron filings from the mixture of iron filings and sand. Selectively, it can attract the iron filings. Similarly, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is coming from the spiritual world, the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna Mahamantra has got the potency, or it has got the sound waves that act like magnets to directly absorb our mind, to take us away from this material world and transfer us into spiritual world. So for that, we have to show the inclination towards and the faith towards the Mahamantra, and we have to, when we are chanting the Mahamantra, we have to avoid the 10 offenses. Okay, so one of the most important things we should learn is that the tongue should always be vibrating. The tongue should only take Krishna Prasadam, so that in that way we are reminding ourselves constantly that we are the part and parcel of the Lord. On the other hand, if the tongue becomes the subservient of our belly and our genitals, then the tongue will go in all directions. Jivara lalaseve iti uti dhai. Shishnodara parayana Krishna nahi pai. So such a person will never get Krishna. So one who is a subservient of the dictates of the tongue, then he will go in all direction. Third lesson that we get is the trajectory. We should know clearly which way we have to go. Our Goloka Express train fortunately is going in the right direction because we follow the footsteps of the Acharya. Mahajana yena kathaso panta. The trajectory is very important. We want to serve the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan if possible. That is what our goal is. And we are not interested in Brahma Jyoti, etc. So our ultimate cosmic destination is that. So we should avoid anything that is a Mishra Bhakti. It's not that Bhakti bhi karna hai, ye bhi karna hai, wo bhi karna hai. No. Bhakti means Bhakti. So we have to learn to dovetail all our activities. It may externally look like we are doing some karmic activities, but dovetail that and make it spiritual. Don't try to independently, adopt a jnana approach or a dhyana approach or a karmi approach to get bhakti. No. Or don't try to use bhakti as a ladder to achieve the goals of karma, jnana and dhyana. Not required. That is not required. Because then what happens? Again, we will be stuck. We will not be able to come out. So the pure devotees or the Mahatmas, they are always Ananya Chetaha, worshipping the Lord without any self-desire or motive. And the last lesson that we learned is that the highest spiritual summit is reached through the most accessible, simple daily practice. Simple daily practice. We don't have to do any gymnastics. No need to sit for hours together in a yogic posture and all that. Krishna is clearly giving us the various options, but he's clearly saying what is Sulabha. So an intelligent soul will catch that. And the most beautiful part is that the Shuddha Bhakti is not bound by any place or circumstance. Unlike Ashtanga Yoga, you have to sit in a Kushal grass, you have to see this, you have to have a lot of limitations are there. You know, you have to sit with your complete spinal cord erect, and you have to focus of the tip of the nose. Very difficult. Mind should be completely absorbed. Very difficult. So here, we just have to chant the holy name. So wherever we travel, uh, whether it's a place of worship or not, we have to learn the art to carry the Lord in our heart. Yudhishthira Maharaj tells Mahatma Vidur, Bhavat Vida Bhagavata Tirtha Bhutani Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirtha Kurvanti Tirthani Swanta Sena Gadabrataha. What does it mean? My Lord, you're the holy place of worship, because you're yourself personified, holy place personified, because you carry the Lord in your heart all the time. You carry the Supreme Personal of God in your heart. So wherever you go, you convert that place into a place of pilgrimage. What a beautiful thing to understand. Once Prabhupada was giving a class in America, and of course, Prabhupada carries Vrindavan mood in his heart, and he was told by the organizer that there is going to be a massive audience tomorrow. More than 2,000 people are going to come and participate in your class. And as it turned out, only 7 people were there. Only 7. And the organizers were very, very embarrassed and ashamed. So they apologized to Prabhupada after the class. Prabhupada, we are very sorry. We promised you so much, but only 7 people turned up. So Prabhupada was shocked why they are saying that. Prabhupada said, no, I could see that it was completely filled. I could see so many sages, including Narada Muni was sitting here, the demigods were there. I was speaking Harikatha. They all came and they were hearing. And this is reality. Prabhupada has shared this. This reality. So what it means is that whenever and wherever a pure soul, speaks Harikatha, the Lord will be present there. Yatra Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. Naham Vaikunta, na Hridayeshu, na Yogi Hridayeshu va. Naham Tishtami Vaikunta. I am not in Vaikunta, I am not in a yogi's heart. But where my devotees are glorifying me, where my devotees are talking about my Harikatha, I am present there, O Narada. The Lord tells Narada Muni. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to chant and Niraprade. Niraprade Nama Lele Paya Premadan. So without any offense, any Vaishnava Aparad, without any Dham Aparad, without any Seva Aparad, Niraprade Nama Lele, you chant the holy name and you get the best gift. The best gift. Paya Premadan. And that is what we want. We want basically Krishna Prem. Okay, I end here. And some devotees requested for some question answers also. We will keep that, no problem. But we will first do our usual fun time now, which is quiz time. So let's quickly do a quiz program. Okay, the rules are this: correct answer 50 points, and the wrong answer minus 50 points. Okay, and there is no that if part of the question is also answered, you still get minus 50 only, because we are looking at the complete answer. Okay, so with that we go to the first question. Okay, why am I not? Is it visible on the screen? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji, it's not.
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, all right. Okay. It's not visible because I have not shared it. Okay. Oh, where am I? Okay. Share. Oops, I think it's already seen, I think the answer, no?
No, yeah.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so in this example, how does the analogy of caterpillar and butterfly apply to Abhyasa Yoga? Why? Oops. Yeah. It describes the slow linear progression of soul through different material species over lifetime. It shows the material body is merely a temporary shell that must be discarded to reveal the soul. It illustrates how constant meditation on a specific form leads to a transformation of one's own nature in the same lifetime. D. It represents the fragility of the mind when it is not yet protected by the cocoon of Vedic studies. E. All of the above. If I remember correctly, was it
Sumit was
Sumati
first.
Mataji who?
Yes.
Yes, Sumati Mataji,
Followed by
please.
Krish.
Huh?
Followed by Krishna Mohan Prabhu.
Okay, Sumati Mataji, can you kindly unmute and give your answer?
The answer is C, Prabhu. It illustrates how constant meditation on a specific form leads to a transformation of one's own nature in the same life.
Okay, let me see what the answer is. Now, not sure if it was seen earlier, but here it goes. Why is it not coming? Yeah, there it goes. Correct answer, Mataji. Very good. 50 points to you.
Did you
Good
see the
opening.
answer, Mataji?
No, Prabhu.
No.
I did not see the answer.
I trust her. I trust her. I fully trust.
Okay.
So very good. Good beginning. Very nice. Just 1 second. I will just. Yeah. Okay. Now we go to the second question. What is the specific meaning of Achintya Rupam as applied to the Supreme Lord in verse 8.9? Is it the state of total voidness or nothingness that cannot be perceived by the human eye? The Lord's ability to remain invisible while sustaining the planetary systems? That which is beyond material logic, argument, and human philosophical speculation? The ancient nature of the Lord as the oldest living being in the universe? Wait. Don't rush. It could be a googly also. All of the above. Yes. Now, who was first?
Ramesh.
Yes, Ramesh ji, go
Very
ahead.
close. Followed by Srinidhi.
Ramesh and Srinidhi?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Srinidhi. We will see if we can accommodate you in the next question. Okay. Yes, Ramesh ji, go ahead.
Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji. Hare
Dandavad
Krishna.
Pranam.
C. Answer is C. Cinema. C for cinema.
C for cinema. Okay, Chaitanya. That which is beyond material logic, argument, and human philosophical speculation. Okay, let me see what the answer is. Yes, you're 100% right. Very good. Very good. Keep
Well
it up.
done.
Well done. Very extremely good. So now we'll go to the third question. Srinidhi, hope you are there. Okay. What is the primary difference between the destination of the personalist devotee and an impersonalist sage as described in 8.13? Devotees are promoted to heavenly planets while the impersonalists achieve total cessation of existence. Devotees enter spiritual planets like Goloka Vrindavan while impersonal remain in Brahma Jyoti. Devotees return to the material world to preach while the impersonalists stay in the sky, spiritual sky forever. Devotees become one with Lord's body while the impersonalists maintain a separate identity. None of the above. Yes.
Krishna Mohan Prabhu.
Krishna Mohan
Yeah, I
Prabhu
need to
ji.
question again because of थोड़ा सा screen में disturb हो गया था मेरे में. So I can read again the question, please.
But then
What is the
Srinidhi
difference
also has
between-
raised, and she had raised last time also. Anyway, we'll give Srinidhi a chance. Since we have told to Krishna Mohan Prabhu, we can go ahead now and we'll see. Yes, Krishna Mohan Prabhu, answer बताइए.
Okay, Prabhu, just me give a second. I can repeat question again, please. Just मेरी screen में disturbance हो गया था कुछ प्रभु जी. What is the primary difference between the destination of
What is the
person-
primary difference between the destination of personalist devotee and impersonalist sage as described in 8.13?
Yes.
हो गया प्रभु, आपका टाइम हो गया.
Just for the answer, I am reading the answers one by one. Actually मैं मेरा miss कर गया था बीच में screen में
इतना टाइम नहीं
disturbance हो
होता है
गया था
प्रभु.
प्रभु जी.
Okay. I
Prabhu
think
ji, answer is B.
B.
Yes,
Devotees.
Prabhuji.
Okay, B for Balram, na?
Yes, Prabhuji. B for Balram.
Okay. Devotees enter spiritual planets like Goloka, Vrindavan, while impersonalists remain in Brahmajyoti. All right. Let me see. What is the correct answer? Yes, you are right, Prabhu. Very good. Keep it up.
एक
Just
मिनट
be
के लिए
little
स्क्रीन
fast. Next time से है ना इतना टाइम मत लीजिएगा because वो टाइम जाता है उसमें.
हो गया तो बीच में है ना
I
वो मैं
understand.
उसमें
No issues. Next time देख लीजिएगा.
Thank you.
Okay. Now others can
Srinidhi, do raise your
lower
hand
down
this
the-
time.
Huh?
Srinidhi should raise her hand this time.
हाँ, Krishnamon Prabhu can lower the hand now. हाँ, now I'll go to the. But why is my hand up? मेरा आप पता नहीं बीच में से ऊपर चला जाता है and I'm not able to bring it down. It's very funny. Okay. Now we go to question number 4. Which of the following describes Shantara's relationship with Supreme Lord? Engaged as a conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord, engaged as in the devotional service in a state of neutrality, engaged as a friend or companion to the Supreme Lord, engaged in the role of protective parent, none of the above. Oh, answer भी आ गया. Sorry.
अरे आंसर भी आ गया.
Oh my God. ठीक है. We will not consider this question then because answer आ गया. लीक हो गया. और NIT का नीट का पेपर जैसा हो गया ये. Okay, so we will not consider this. We'll go to the next question.
We want the education
answer
ministry
बता
to
दो
be nine.
मैं प्रभु जी
Answer-
आंसर पे मैंने इसका आंसर बता दीजिए प्रभु जी.
आंसर आ गया ना?
मैं देखा नहीं था.
B.
आंसर आ गया. गलती से मेरा प्रेस हो गया ना तो इट केम आउट. सॉरी. My mistake. Okay, we go to question number last question.
So Srinidhi, you have to wait for the last question now.
It is becoming difficult for her. Huh? Okay, maybe she'll get it now. Bhakti yoga is superior to other types of yoga because one can easily go to Swarga Loka, one can easily go to Brahma Loka, one can easily go to Vaikuntha Loka from Bhu Loka, one doesn't have to return to Bhu Loka, none of the above. Yes.
Krishnamohan Prabhu and Manisha, but since Krishnamohan Prabhu has answered, we can give it to Manisha.
But Srinidhi has not raised her hand, huh?
No.
Okay, then we'll have to give it to Manisha.
Manisha, yeah.
Yes, Manisha ji, go ahead.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम. प्रभु जी डी प्रभु जी.
D. Okay, D is one
Yes,
doesn't have to
Prabhuji.
return to Bhuloka, correct?
Yes, प्रभु जी.
Are you sure?
Yes, प्रभु जी. Bhakti Yoga's goal is to go to Golok Vrindavan. So none of other is what we desire. So not coming to Bhuloka is what I think.
All right, let's see what the answer is. Guessing. The answer is C and D. See, Goloka is one of the topmost Vaikuntha planets. Okay, so that's why I've deliberately not put Goloka. I put one can easily go to Vaikuntha Loka from Bhuloka. So here the interpretation is Vaikuntha is Goloka. Okay, and from Bhakti Yoga one can go to Vaikuntha Loka also. See, Vaikuntha is basically eternal planet, and Bhakti Yoga
Yes.
guarantees you eternality. Correct?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
Manisha.
प्रभु जी.
I think you probably must have thought this way that Bhakti Yoga only takes us to Goloka, correct? That's why you didn't.
Yes, प्रभु जी. Yes, प्रभु जी. Our goal is to go to Goloka, so that way I
हाँ.
thought Vaikuntha Loka we shouldn't stop.
हाँ, so you should know that Goloka is one of the Vaikuntha planets, topmost of the Vaikuntha planet, because there is Goloka, there is Ayodhya Loka, there is Dwaraka Loka, there are different planets are there in that. Okay, so that
Yes,
way
Prabhuji.
you have to say Goloka is the topmost.
Clear, Prabhuji.
All right. So anyway, good try, and congratulations to all the winners and to all the participants. And with that, we come to the end of today's session. And I just wanted to open this floor up because sometimes people are writing to me that can you keep one or two questions at the end. I'm okay as long as you all have the patience to stay a bit late also. Okay, so if anybody wants to ask one or two questions, I'm available. If anybody has got any hard pressed need to leave and go, they are also free to leave and go. Okay, Srinidhi has raised your hand, so you can ask the question now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, my friend, she has asked one question, Harshita,
Hmm.
and her cousin as well, that why Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, they appeared only in India and why not in other countries? How
Okay.
can I understand?
Okay, it's a very good, thoughtful question. Why Ramchandra and Krishna, Bhagwan, appeared only in India and not in any other country, correct? That's the question? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we have to think this way that the geographical division or the geographical distribution of the countries are happening regularly and it is ever evolving. Okay, in our own lifetime, for example, we have seen India getting broken into Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, correct? At least in my lifetime, I have seen that India has been broken into so many countries. If you see in Mahabharata time, where did Shakuni Mama come from? Kandar, that is now Afghanistan. This part of Afghanistan. If you go to places like Thailand, there is one Ayodhya there also. We have Ayodhya in UP. There is one Ayodhya there also. They also enjoy the festival, celebrate the festival of Rama and Mahabharata, etc. If you go to Bali, there is a virgin beach called as Pandavas Beach, where all the 5 Pandavas along with Queen Kunti are there. So if we have to understand it this way, that geography is of today. During the time of Ramachandra and Krishna, it was all called as Bharat Varsha. Bharat Varsha is actually the entire planet. We say Bharat Varshe. When we do Sankalpa, we say Bharat Varshe. That actually refers to the entire Kalpa. Then we further zero down. Meroho, all those things we say, So now, for example, in Ramayana, you will see that Ravana smuggled gold to make Swarna Lanka from where? From Brazil, Prabhupada says. So Brazil was accessible to Sri Lanka. So one may understand this way also, the Ravana had mystic powers. So he built a tunnel up to Brazil to smuggle gold. Another way of understanding is Brazil as was part of the single continent. See, there is in science also they support the idea that there has been a continental drift. You must have heard of this terminology called continental drift, correct? Like if you see in the Southeast Asia, you can see a lot of these countries were part of India, but now because of continental drift, they have gone away. So what we understand as India is a present day India, and when Ramchandra was there, it was like the entire planet. Like Prithu Maharaj was the ruler, not of India alone. Prithu Maharaj was the ruler of the planet. Similarly, there are so many kings who are mentioned in our scriptures. So it is considered as a planet, the entire emperor of the planet. Yudhishthira Maharaj also ruled the entire planet. So when we say that while Ramchandra and Krishna appeared in India and not in other countries, actually they appeared in Bharat. So India is a modern name given by the Britishers and all that. And Bharat is a bigger expression. It's a bigger expression. You should understand Bharat as a complete universe that way. And then, of course, one may say that why specifically in Uttar Pradesh? One can think that way also, because Krishna appeared in Mathura, Ramchandra appeared in Ayodhya. So in the present time, it is appearing in Uttar Pradesh. So one can think this way also. The entire universe being one, maybe the capital of the entire universe was in that place, centric. Because today, why Delhi is the capital? Because Delhi came from Hastinapur. The original Delhi was actually Hastinapur. So basically, the ruling took place in Hastinapur during Mahabharat war. That's how Delhi got the chance to become the capital. Otherwise, capital should have been some other city. Some can argue that way also. Why not Chennai? Why not Meghalaya and all those places? So we have to apply a little bit of scriptural injunctions in this to understand not purely what we study in history and geography. History and geography will constantly change. Today there is a talk of Pakistan going to be split between Balochistan and Pakistan. I mean, don't quote me, but there are talks going on. China has got a dream to break India into some 14 or 15 parts. So tomorrow, God forbid, should that happen, then somebody who is born in Maharashtra as a country will say, why Krishna and Rama are born only in Uttar Pradesh as a country? Why not in Maharashtra? But he will be not knowing the fact that once upon a time it was part of India. So right now we are not knowing the fact that India, or this was all a greater Bharat. So it has been broken into fragments over a period of time, partly because of ruling, partly because of continental drift. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Good you asked this question, because it's a very thoughtful question, in my opinion. Okay. Anybody has got any other question? Okay. If not, we can wind up the session, and we can then get ready for the next session for next week. So thank you all very much for joining in today on a Saturday evening. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all very much. Take care. Have a nice weekend, and see you all next Saturday. Hare Krishna. I'm
Hare
ending the
Krishna.
session now.